Hi again, guys. I'm going to make some sourdough crackers. A lot of your sourdough starter processes say, get it to a certain point, throw away half of it. Doesn't happen in my kitchen. I'm too frugal for that. So I've looked for ways to use up that what would normally be thrown away, the discard, unfed starters. All it is. It's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine, ready to use. It's just a matter of finding something to do with it other than throwing it away. It's part of why I leave my starter in the refrigerator most of the time, just feed it periodically, activate a portion of it to use for whatever I'm baking that weekend. And I pretty much bake with sourdough every weekend. This week, I decided I'm going to make some crackers. It's, again, pretty simple recipe: flour, olive oil, salt, and some herbs. I use thyme and rosemary in this batch. All-purpose flour and rye flour. Pretty much the process is the same as bread. You're going to mix your unfed starter instead of the active starter. You use unfed starter with your flour and your herbs and your salt. Form that into a dough, and then wrap it in plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator overnight. That gives it a good long slow fermentation. Because it's unfed starter, it will start to activate as it eats the flour, and it will swell up and stretch your saran wrap or whatever plastic wrap you're using. So I recommend putting it in a bowl in the fridge in case it does pop like a can of hot biscuits in a hot car. Yeah, you never know. So once you have your dough fermented overnight, you get it out of the refrigerator. I use my bench scraper, cut it into 5 or 6 pieces, and I roll them out as thin as I can get them. I use a marble rolling pin, and I put the dough between 2 sheets of saran wrap on the counter, and just roll it out as thin as I can get it. Usually somewhere shy of a 1/16 of an inch thick. From that point, I put it onto parchment paper on a cookie sheet. I have right around a minute and a half here before this first batch comes out of the oven. So this is what my dough looks like out of the refrigerator. Already got a quarter of it in the oven. Well, an eighth of it in the oven, eighth of it on the counter. Take your dough, roll it out, get it on your parchment paper, put it in the oven for about 15 minutes. And when I get it on the parchment paper, I cut it into squares about the size of a Triscuit or somewhere around that size with a pizza cutter. Just nice gently roll it through so you don't cut through your parchment paper. And bake them up for about 15 minutes and show you what they look like. There they are. They are extremely aromatic because of the rosemary and thyme, and they will be delicious. Ones on the edge are nice and crisp. The ones in the middle, I believe, some of these could go back in the oven for a little bit. And I'm going to sit that back in there for another minute or two. So there you go. Just another way to use up some of what would normally be thrown away in my frugal kitchen.